2024 has seen a lot of releases and I tested quite a bit of phones this year, and I want to give my opinion on which I find the best, focusing on of course the camera, but there is going to be one winner for overall use as well, because I think that is also really important. Either way, let's dive into this video and talk about my favorite devices of 2024 and also the ones that really faltered this year. Either way, let's start. Anyway, we're going to start with a lower end phone, and that is going to be the CMF Phone 1. Well, I don't think it's naturally very special, because I think you can get second-hand devices for around that price that will perform better. For a new device, I think it's actually an excellent choice when it comes to the camera itself. In terms of phone use, I will say it's not my kind of thing, but I still think the performance of it was really solid for the price that you are paying. Now, to go up a little bit in the price itself, I also like to mention the Poco F6. It has a pretty bright display and the main sensor allowed some great shots from it. The CPU is stable and gave me a smooth experience as well, with a 5000 mAh battery inside. And the charger is of course included as well, up to 90 watt, unlike the CMF Phone 1. But of course, it does cost a bit more, being around 350 euros, and I think you get quite a good phone for it. Though with that being said, I always say look at the second-hand market as well, because of course for 350 euros you can get some old flagships as well. Now a little bit up, we also of course have the Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus, which is just a very confusing name, but I think for the phone itself it was an excellent performance for the price, and I loved using it in Switzerland because I think there it was excellent. While I don't think the 200 megapixel resolution was more than selling the number itself than really the camera, I still think that the camera performance for it was actually quite nice, and battery life performance on it was excellent as well. But over that, I would pick the device that is named the Nubia Z60S Pro. I actually really liked the device itself. It had great battery life, and then when it comes to the main camera, you get great shots out of it. And I think if you're paying a little bit more, I will pick that over the Xiaomi. I think overall that device has really impressed me a lot. Sure, the ultra wide isn't very capable and the zoom as well isn't very capable, but when it comes to the main sensor, it was actually excellent. And those other two sensors aren't very capable on of course the Xiaomi as well, so I think when it comes to my preference, I will pick the Nubia, even though I need to slightly turn down the brightness in the shots. The 35mm equivalent cannot be forgotten when it comes to that phone, and I think there it has an excellent performance for myself in my preference. Not to mention good battery life. Now, one device that I really want to call out as well, that I started using in 2024, is the Nubia Z60 Ultra and Ultra leading version, because they're basically the same with of course the camera change itself using a different sensor for the main sensor. But when it comes to that device, the 35mm equivalent has been so good. The zoom capabilities has been good as well, and you're paying so much less for the device itself that I feel like that device definitely deserves a call out in terms of the performance, in terms of price to performance itself, and in terms of that 35mm equivalent that I love using on the Nubia Z60 Ultra and leading version with it as well. And yes, the Z70 Ultra is coming in. Stay tuned for a new video concept for that video as well. Either way, the Nubia Z60 Ultra and Z60 Ultra leading version definitely deserve a shout out here when it comes to the camera capabilities of both of those devices. And before we truly go to the flagships, I also want to shout out the experience on the Vivo V40. It has been excellent as well. It gives you a lot of the experience as you get on the Pro itself, but you save a bit of money. And with the two cameras that you have on there, you can capture some stunning shots in the summer. And I think this was one of my favorite devices of 2024 as well. And now I really want to go towards the flagship comparisons, because here this is the hardest part for me when it comes to selecting a clear winner. Because for me, there isn't really a clear winner. It's between two devices, no question about it. Samsung and Apple we're going to discuss in a little bit. But when it comes to picking between the Vivo X100 Ultra and the Xiaomi 14 Ultra, I think it really comes down to your personal preference. My preference slightly goes towards the Xiaomi when it comes to the feel of the shot itself. I think there Xiaomi is unbeatable unbeaten, unrivaled in 2024 and in 2023 as well. It has a lot of character, a lot of soul. But if you come from a technical perspective, and if you want a little bit more of a bright shot, like I explained, summer versus autumn, where the Vivo is the summer and where the Xiaomi is the autumn, then I think if you want that summer experience, the Vivo is it. When you want that autumn experience, the Xiaomi is it. I think there it comes down to really what your preference is. For me, it means that I will pick, in terms of camera alone, the Xiaomi. But when it comes to the technical side of the camera and reliability of it, I will pick the Vivo. And that is also the device that for me has been the device of 2024 when it comes to the experience. It has the better fingerprint scanner, it has much better battery life. Screen for me, in terms of that, it's really comparable between the two, and it's more reliable for the camera experience in different modes. Where the Xiaomi is like you take 10 shots and 8 of them are really, really, really good. But with the Vivo you can trust it and have that shot right there. And I think that is where the Xiaomi needs to work on a little bit. But honestly, sometimes it's worth to take that extra shot. And now I also want to discuss the awards for one of the worst devices out there that I've used. Now, this comes down to mainly the camera experience between two devices. It's going to be the iPhone 16 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Let's start with something good. I think battery life on the iPhone was solid. I think the build of the iPhone was really solid. When it comes to the Samsung, I really like the display itself. The less reflection on the screen really makes it useful for shots that are lower. I also really like the build of it, and in terms of day-to-day use, it was actually really good. Battery life was okay, but nothing crazy. But in terms of that, it was really good. Now, between these two, which one do I think is the worst one? It's definitely going to be the iPhone. The iPhone 16 Pro has been a terrible experience for me when it comes to the camera. It struggled so much with the ultra wide in a lot of situations, and yes, that comes down to daytime photography as well, where I had some of the worst shots that I've ever taken on a phone. And I know that always we say it's going to be the person behind the camera that matters, and yes, it really is. But when it comes to the iPhone, there are situations where even a person behind the camera cannot fix the issues that it has. Be it in low light where it black spotches all over the place, or be it that in daytime photography it looks very, very digital, very, very artificial, and it looked really poor in daytime ultra wide photography as well. Sure, main sensor was fine, but that ultra wide was terrible. And yes, in terms of video as well, in low light, it struggled far more than it's supposed to. Either way, these were my rewards of 2024 and which I would pick for my device in 2024. And like I said, when it comes to overall use, I think that the Vivo X100 Ultra has been the best for me. And I know there are some other devices that are releasing this year, and of course that includes the OnePlus 13, but I don't think I've used those long enough to really include them into the 2024 list. They will be more of a part of early 2025, if that makes sense. Either way, let me know which your pick would be out of these devices and which has been your favorite of 2024. Also, I really want to thank my members, of course, as always. I really appreciate the support, and if you are new to the channel, you can of course join the membership as well. But if you aren't subscribed yet, you can also do that and like and comment below and so on. That really helps out a channel like mine. Either way, have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.